What's good, y'all? It's DBrown Shanghai. And today we going back to a very well-loved series on the channel that we haven't done in a very long time. And of course, that's Storytime with DBrown. Of course, the reason that I don't want to be dropping these videos all the time is that I don't want to have to start lying for stories, which is why you haven't gotten one of these in years. Sometimes a story comes back, like maybe you talk to somebody and a story that you haven't thought about in years and years and years come back. And that's what happened. I talked to one of my friends the other day, and it literally made me remember a story from when we were like 8, 9 years old. We grew up watching wrestling. We loved wrestling. We watched Attitude Era, and this was around the start of the Ruthless Aggression Era. As a matter of fact, this wasn't 04, 03. I'm lying. It was like 06, 07. This was around the time that we were all watching TNA, my friend group, from 2005 until whenever. We were all very into TNA. So I say all that to say, we were on that wrestling stuff heavy. So much so that back in the day, we had our own little like wrestling show. You would call it, it would be a promotion. We had our own wrestling promotion, but just in our backyards, we would fight for titles or whatever. A couple of us went to buy titles. I owned the undisputed WWE Championship, the SmackDown title. One of my friends had the World Heavyweight Champion. My friend / cousin, as a matter of fact, he had the World Heavyweight Championship. And another one of our friends, he bought the tag team title, but it was just one. So if you were the tag team champs, y'all took turns, posing and holding the belt, you know what I'm saying? And the way that it worked, it would just be on days that everybody was present, everybody was in the neighborhood or whatever. And if we wasn't playing football or baseball or basketball or whatever, or if we had already done that, somebody might be like, hey, y'all boys want to wrestle? And then from there, it'll be like, all right, well, let's do a show. Like, anybody want to put the titles on the line? And of course, we was kids. We didn't know that wrestling was scripted yet. So the way that you won a match, you had to actually most of the time people won by submission because you have to choke somebody out or put them in an ankle lock or a walls of Jericho and legitimately hurt them to get them to quit. You wasn't gonna pin someone. The only time I recall seeing someone ever get pinned, one time this kid who didn't usually play with us, it was just a neighborhood kid. One of our friends who was a little bit older, he slammed the out of he slammed the kid so hard you could hear go you could hear the wind get knocked out of, when he landed on the ground, you could hear the wind get knocked out of him. You gotta, then you gotta. And that's the only time someone ever got pinned. Buddy was on the ground halfway to heaven. That's the only way you was gonna pin somebody. So we wasn't scripted. We was out there hurting each other for real, all for the love of the game. And at this point, 06, 07, y'all know who the guy was. It was John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, respect. If you want some, come get some. And little 10-year-old DBrown lived by those words. What can I say? So on this one eventful weekend, one of our friends, they were having a family reunion that weekend or something like that. So one of our friends' cousins was in town, but he wasn't with our friend. He was with his other cousin who also lived in the neighborhood. And I think earlier that day we were playing football. And then they linked back up with us when they saw us walking down the road with our titles. Everybody had went to go get their championships, and we were about to do a show. We were about to get it on. So they see us walking with our titles, walking down the street, looking like Evolution and shit. And they're like, where y'all going? What y'all doing? Can we come over there with y'all? We're like, yeah, come on. So one thing leads to another. We explained to them the rules of the promotion, you know what I'm saying? And so the cousin who was visiting from out of town says that he wants to challenge for the undisputed title. That's the one that he liked the most. In my mind, I'm like, you tripping. The big gold belt looked 10 times better than this one. What are you talking about? But nonetheless, I oblige. I give him his one-on-one, We locking up, we wrestling. One thing leads to another. He slammed me, I slammed him. Now, this is something most of y'all probably already know. I used to always talk about it. But as a kid, I was the skinniest, always the skinniest, probably the shortest, you know what I'm saying? But still the most rowdy all the time. Especially if I felt like you was looking at me thinking I'm that nigga to steal on. You know what I'm saying? The little dude, yeah, we gonna target the little dude. In my mind, if you could call it Napoleon comp, whatever, I'm gonna get you before you get me. So in the midst of this match, after we're slamming each other and stuff, eventually he falls on his stomach somehow. And when he falls on his stomach, I'm an ankle lock kind of guy. I'll put you in an ankle lock and I'll Kurt Angle you. As a kid, I probably took things too far, especially wrestling for $12 little plastic title belts. You really gonna break someone's ankle over that? But in this moment, I didn't go for the ankle lock. I went for something that I had recently learned about. When John Cena had to do a submission match against, I think it was Umaga. I can't remember who it was, Chris Master, somebody. John Cena unveiled a new move that we had never seen him do, the step over toe hold face lock, otherwise known as the STFU. I put the young fella in the STFU, and if y'all ever seen the episode of the Broken Skull podcast where Stone Cold tells John Cena, you need to tighten up on it a little bit, like it don't look like it hurt at all. If you saw the STFU I put that kid in that day, Stone Cold would have gave me the opposite advice he gave of John Cena. Once I got the face lock part of the move in, once I stepped over and latched onto the leg and bent the leg, when I put my arms around that face, I cranked back. Remember, I'm like, oh, wrestlers do it all the time and they're fine. They don't, they show up every week to work, you know what I'm saying? So I pull back and the kid lets out a Tom and Jerry, ouch! He lets out one of those, bro. And I still don't let go because I'm telling him, hey, tap out. At this point, they're all telling him, tap out. Just tap out and the match over. I wasn't letting go. That the world title meant everything to me. And apparently it meant just as much to him, even though this is the first time he ever met us, the first day in the promotion. He thought he was Stone Cold at WrestleMania 13 because you know what he did? He didn't tap out. He passed out. Or at least we thought he did. So after a while, he stopped screaming, stopped moving. I just let go and I stood up. And we all just standing there looking at him like, you can't be dead. Like, what happened? Did he pass out from the pain? Like I roll him over. I'm like, bro, you good? And his cousins are trying to wake him up. They're trying to wake him up. And eventually he comes back too, but he was faking. He was legitimately faking. I don't understand the logic in not tapping out. I've never seen this guy again a day in my life. I saw him that one day. That's the only time I ever saw him. Like, was it his pride? Like, why didn't you just tap out? I was gonna break your bro. I was going to keep pulling. If he was still screaming and not tapping, I would have keep pulling until I started to hear joints and ligaments pop. Like, so when he get up, we all like, was like, you okay? Like, you okay? Like, yeah, I got asthma. I was like, what the fuck does asthma have to do with anything? Asthma make you pass out? Like, I swear to God, I'm not lying. I got asthma. It was probably my asthma. That's probably what it was. Bro, what? So after we talked to Buddy for a little while, they left, they went back home, and we continued to do our thing. We wrestled for a little bit. We wrestled a little bit more, had a few title matches after I successfully defended mine. And I'm pretty sure we probably ended the day going to my house playing PlayStation 2 or something. And luckily for me, no parents or aunts or nobody like that was told because it could have went real left. I'm telling you, the neighborhood I lived in, bro, shit got volatile. When family members were brought in because somebody did something to somebody baby, man, you could see moms fighting, you could see grandmas fighting, and I would hate for somebody to get their mom or grandma and come down there because I'd have put the whole family in the STFU fucking with me. But that's the end of the story, man. If y'all enjoyed that, drop a like, you know what I'm saying? If y'all want to see me bring this back. But there are a lot of other stories that I can't get into on this channel, especially these little wrestling stories, because after I remembered that we used to do this, I started having memories of, like, bro, I got thrown off the top of a baseball cage one time. We had a ladder match and we tucked the titles into the little poles that are on the top of the baseball cage fence. And I was up there trying to get it one time and my own cousin literally threw me from the top. It's like a 15 plus feet fall, bro. Like, what were we on as kids, man? But anyway, like I said, if you enjoyed this video and you want to hear more, let me know in the comments and drop the like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Maybe we can bring back stories full time, or maybe like once every couple weeks or so. But as always, man, I am DBrown Shanghai. Like I said, show love, drop a like, leave comments, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.